I'm a dish with D. That's me. Thank you for this video and making yourself a priority. I am Denise. It is Monday. And Monday is, cue the horns, is the Weight Watchers weekly meeting technique, my weigh-in, and some fun insights to the technique that I like to give. It's a 100% Weight Watchers. I kind of put my spin on it. And this week is this topic comes at such an interesting time. I'm like, what? It's my life this week. Alrighty. I get weighed in person on Fridays. And this week, now I've had a 6 or 7 week streak of weight loss. I know. Shut the front door. Nobody's more shocked than me. I shouldn't say that because I've been really good. I've been very diligent. It's always good when you have an event that you have coming up that you really behave. So I think I was up to I think about 6.2 pounds all told. Well, when I stepped on the scale this week, I was up 1.6. Again, I know there's fluctuation. I do. I think I just was ill prepared for it. I'm I didn't expect 0.4, 0.6, even up to a pound. But when it goes to 1.5 or a little over, I'm and she's like, did you have ham this week? I'm like, well, yeah, we always have ham. It's Easter. Did you have it all week? I'm like, pretty much. She goes, that's what it is. I'm like, are you sure? She goes, I'm telling you, ham is notorious for that. And honestly, I didn't really think about it. I enjoy the ham because I thought it's to me, it's lean. I think, anyway. It's a lean piece. I think it's a lean piece of meat. There's not a lot of fat on it, So I kind of, I guess, ate it pretty regularly because I thought, well, it's lean. It's lean. It's lean. Well, it is lean, but there is some sodium in there. So, yeah. What is the weight loss topic this week? Feeling salty. I went, sometimes the higher powers look out for me. And did it come because it was a week after Easter, Passover? I know Passover, they don't eat pork. But I kind of wonder, is it just a coincidence? What do you think? I don't know. I find it very interesting. So we're still finishing. This is the last week of the April theme, Reset and Refresh, and it is feeling salty. Apparently, from what I heard, the next week is all delving into the macronutrients. I like it. Like I said, Weight Watchers is a points-based system. You don't have to look at any of these macronutrients, but it's so good to be informed. This is my always, little information is always good. And so many people have noticed that when they look at the sodium, wow, you don't think about it until you see the numbers. Now, granted, sodium numbers are in the thousands for a normal sodium. I think we're used to seeing 100 grams of protein, 200 carbs. So when you see 15 to 2,000, 2,500, you're like, what? So that is typically normal for a day. You can Google it, how much sodium is normal in a day. It's around 2,500, I believe. But there's so many things that salt hides in that we just don't realize. Cheese, milk, things you just wouldn't think. Eggs are salt and eggs. How? I don't know. But I think seeing that gives us this, like I always say, a bigger picture. So yeah, salt. Are you feeling salty? I look at it this way. I know my week was not bad, so I don't, but I think I was really shocked. But I didn't think about it. It could be the salt. Where it's funny. It says spotlight is on sodium. Where it sneaks in, what it does to your body, and how you spot and swap it with cutting flavors. Without cutting flavors. Now, fun fact, not everybody's sensitive to salt. I'm not usually, but I think, like she said, when it's multiple days, when I was on my cruise, I remember on a cruise you eat out all your meals all the time. So it was towards the end of our tenure there. We were on the boat, and I was taking my socks off or something, and I was looking at my ankles and how the socks. And like I said, I've never had a sodium issue, but literally the dent, I had taken a picture of it. I had cankles. I'm I said to see, what is this? I said, look at these. So it was from the salt. I guess there's repetitive, so much sodium. Again, you could have a high sodium day and it's fine, but it's just repetitive sodium days. And some people are more sensitive to sodium than others. But yeah, I was a bit surprised. So I'm thinking it was just that repetitive ham. And that it's funny. And figure it's not just ham that you have. Whatever else you have, that's just adding to your day. So yeah, it's important. Research tells us there aren't calories in sodium on its own. Sodium will not lead to weight gain in terms of storing calories as fat. However, sodium can still show up on the scales in two main ways. Consuming excessive sodium can lead to fluid retention, so you might see a temporary increase in the body weight on the scale. Salt tastes good, so we tend to eat more. One study shows that adding salt to food increases calorie intake by 11%, independent of other variables. That's true. Like, a lot of people, like, they crave salty things, sweet and salty. I mean, there's nothing better than some salty caramel or caramel. Oh my gosh, funny you should say that, because I just got a box of salted caramel Built Bar Puffs. And they're salty. Like, sometimes when you have salted caramel, you don't really taste the salt too much. Like, you just know it's a little bit, but this, like, literally, it's like, I should check the sodium on that bar, because I'm telling you, you can literally taste the salt. Sodium is an essential mineral that our body needs to normal muscle function and nerve function, fluid balance, and more. It is important. You always, like I said, it's definitely something to keep in check, but you should never have zero salt. Like, you can't go on a zero. It's just not good for your body. We should definitely keep it in check. And again, with different conditions, like heart conditions, high blood pressure, your doctor might say, hey, I think I need you on a low sodium diet. Because like my dad had a really bad fluid retention, so he had to really watch his salt. He had to watch what he drank. He had to measure everything, because again, if you have an issue like that, you just does not fit into you. You're a separate category. Diets higher in sodium are associated with increased risk of developing high blood pressure, which is a major cause of strokes and heart disease. And here's a fun fact: a lot of people who have high blood pressure, one of the medications they get is a diuretic. Hydrochlorothiazide. I think I said it right. My husband takes hydrochlorothiazide, so that's definitely, that's why my dad used to laugh. He says, why are you giving me a water pill? He goes, I'm stressed. I said, maybe to pee out your frustrations, with my dad. Did you know the words table salt and sodium are often used interchangeably, but they do not mean the same thing. Table salt, also known by its chemical name as sodium chloride, is a crystal-like compound that is abundant in nature. Sodium is a mineral. Did we know that? I don't know if I knew that. I don't think I knew that. As a food ingredient, sodium is used for curing meats, baking, thickening, retaining moisture, enhancing flavor, including the flavor of other ingredients, as a preservative. A lot of things are preserved in salt. So like canned vegetables, there's sodium in there. Now, what we always suggest is rinsing those things. Like canned beans, rinsing them. Are you going to get all the salt out? No. You're going to get a lot of it, though. You're not going to get all of it. But, you're helping yourself as much as you can. Like I always say, like, people like, oh, you shouldn't eat canned vegetables. Some people can only get canned vegetables. I can't sit there and be like the meanies. They don't eat canned vegetables. Fresh. In the real world, you can't. But what you can do is you can rinse those vegetables and, help yourself as much as you possibly can. And always check the content of the sodium. That's why it's great to have that in your app. Here's a question I want to ask you. Have you been shocked by things that are high in sodium? I've been a few. Well, the one that comes to my mind right away is fat-free cottage cheese. Back when it went to 0 points, because originally it was not 0 points. Then only fat-free is 0 points. And then, oh my gosh, fat-free cottage cheese is 0 points. I'm going to grab that. And I did. Never looked at the sodium. I don't know what made me look at it one day. Maybe somebody told me. I don't remember now. And a serving of that cottage cheese, which is probably a third or a half cup, was 425 milligrams. You say, well, that's not too bad. It's not in the thousands. Okay. You go to 1% cottage cheese. The sodium is 45. That's a huge difference. That's 400 milligrams for the same serving of cottage cheese. Why? Because fat-free cottage cheese is terrible. So if you didn't have that sodium in there, you probably wouldn't be able to get that sucker down. And I feel like, well, you know what? I very rarely eat plain cottage cheese. I mix it into things. So I don't think could you make a sodium-free, fat-free? I'd be up for that. But yeah, I'm not. So what I do is I buy the 1%. It's 1 point for the serving. It's not a terrible thing to charge yourself a point here and there. And I bet a lot of you probably leave points on the board. So yeah, I go for higher point cottage cheeses. I go for a higher point regular cheese or a low-fat cheese, not a fat-free cheese. The fat-free cheeses, they look like plastic. And there's a lot of high sodium in like canned soups. Oh my gosh, yes. Chinese food is notorious, but you know that. And my suggestion is, if, you should not have it. Maybe have less, or when you're going to have it, do the old flush. Get your big old jug of water and flush yourself out. Help get that sodium out of your body. That helps. Green tea, flush, always helps. Olives and pickles. God, pickles. I mean, there's so many things that sodium has that the reality is we're going to not have them. We're not going to have pickles. Come on, it's pickles. Like, if I can't live life and have a pickle here and there, I mean, I'm hanging it up. So yes, but how can I, help my body flush it out? Like, you have to, if you're going to do one negative thing, you have to do one positive thing. So if I'm going to have sodium, I'm going to flush it out with some fresh water. Like, that's why water is so important. It is so important. Did you know? Here are some few common food additives that contribute to the amount of sodium listed in the nutrition facts label. These are like names you might not recognize. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, which is all in Chinese food. Sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. Sodium nitrate. Sodium benzoate, which I feel like I know one of those things. But those things, they're listed that way, so you might not recognize them. And here's the thing. Are we going to be reading all these labels? That's the thing. I wish I had time to do that. I wish I had the energy to do that, because it's like there's so many things in life going on to sit there and go, ape crazy over every label that you have. I mean, here's something right here. I don't know what this is, but it's just sitting here. I have canned clams. So let's see what's in the canned clams. What's the sodium? 530 milligrams for half the can. So this has over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Yep, let's see. Clams and clam juice, water, salt, sugar, sodium, triphosphate. So I always say, though I do sometimes the clam juice I do use, but most of the times I drain it. And you could give it a little rinse. I wouldn't rinse it too much, because then again, it's going to take all the... Sometimes, here's this fun fact. Sometimes when you over rinse, you take away all the flavor. And then it's like, who wants to... You're not going to eat bland food. You're not going to eat food that you don't like. So always be mindful of that. Yes, we can make better options and changes, but we can't go totally zero salt, because you're not going to want to eat. You'll be like, oh, who wants to eat something that has no taste? So yeah, so maybe like either salt when you cook or salt at the table. I wouldn't do both. So you have to choose, like, what would you... And I always find using kosher salt, because it's bigger, puffier, you use less than the regular, like, fine. You use way too much of that. I'll be honest with you, you do. So I always recommend... When I started watching the Food Network many years ago, they were always like getting their salt thing, and I wanted to do that, and they always use kosher salt. And I realized that, yeah, you use less salt when you use kosher salt, because it's puffier. The potassium and sodium work together. When I used to work at the doctor's office, we used to do a sodium and potassium test, because when you tested one, the other one always just came with it. So I always remember that. The potassium is an essential mineral that needed by all tissues in the body. It is sometimes referred to as an electrolyte because it carries a small electrical charge that activates various cells and nerve functions. Potassium is found naturally in many foods, and as a supplement, potassium also helps muscle contract and supports normal blood pressure. It is a main role in the body to help maintain normal levels of fluid inside our cells. Sodium, its counterpart, maintains normal fluid levels inside the cells. The best way to know your nutrient needs is to meet with a registered dietitian. Absolutely. I say this all the time. If you have questions, go to somebody with a medical degree, a registered dietitian. Most insurances will cover them. And if they don't, it's still worth the money. Go to somebody who knows what they're talking about, who's studied this. Oh, I read that. Oh my God, I read that one. Oh, that was it. Okay. That's all I had to say. But again, like I said, it's something to be mindful of. It is something to keep an eye on. Should you go crazy? It depends. If your health is involved, if you have heart disease, you have, my dad suffered from congestive heart failure, fluid. If you have issues with your legs, fluid in your legs, ankles, yeah. Always consult your doctor. He's your best bet. And, there's so many different ways to lower sodium in cooking by using just things that don't have salt in it. Mrs. Dash. Fresh herbs. I know they're hard to come by. You may just get dried basil and parsley. It has nothing else but basil and parsley in it. And then you give it some flavor and you can add a little teeny bit of salt, but not a lot. Decide whether you want to salt as you cook or salt on the table. It depends. That's a personal preference. Very rarely do we salt at the table. I pretty much salt as I cook. I don't think I've ever seen, not too many of them have ever reached for the salt shaker. It just depends on what I've made. But I do use less salt than I used to, just because I feel like I want the flavors of the food to really ping, but sometimes a little bit of salt just makes them pop. It does. And I love, my other favorite thing is, and again, you'll probably use less salt. Flake salt. I've gotten this flaky sea salt. It's just big puff salt, and you're gonna put it on top, and it gives you a little pop, and you do use less. Like I said, if you're using that table salt shaker, man, I bet you're using a lot. So definitely something to be said for changing up the type of salt you use. People use that pink Himalayan salt. Nothing wrong with that. I also have a salt grinder. You get the big rock salt, and that's making it fine. So you just got to watch that too. I'm all about being able to feel it in my fingers and as I put it on the thing. So that is it for salt. So again, I'm going to ask the question, what did you do right this week? Not what you did wrong. What did you do right? I'm sure there's something you did right. So let us know in the comments section below. How did your week go? How is it the 1 week post-holiday? Can you believe a week is gone? We were just saying this last night we can't believe it's been a week already. I can't believe that it's been over 2 months since my dog went to the Rainbow Bridge. And I can talk about it without crying. I can't believe it. Time is a thief. Tibby's going to be ordained in a few weeks. I don't even know what to say about that. 8 years flew by when people hear that he's had to be in there 8 years, oh my gosh, it's such a long time. It flew by. It really legit flew by. Here we are, 2025. I don't understand. It's crazy. So don't let time get away from you. Seize the moment. If you want to lose that weight, dedicate yourself to it. But make small changes. We asked about that in the meeting. Somebody said, what's advice you can give somebody? And somebody said, small steps, baby steps. Don't think you're going to do this in a month overnight. You're going to make all these changes. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. The odds are you're not. And I hate to say it negatively. It's just the realization is you've lived. It's easier to gain weight than it is to lose weight. Because gaining weight is fun. Eating is enjoyable. It's pleasurable. Nothing pleasure about stopping when you're they didn't stop. Why do I have to? But I will tell you, the more you practice it, the easier it does. It just does. You'll be you're satisfied. Stop when you're satisfied. We ignore the keys. Look for those keys. Look for them. Another day, I was eating, was it here? It was here. And we had gotten we went to the store and we brought home some frozen meals to prepare. It was an Asian market. And I only had some of the portion, because it was pretty high in points. So I only had some of it. I could have went back. I counted for all of it in the points, but I thought, let me see how I feel. And honestly, I said to Steve, I'm not going to go back. I have, I've already pointed it, but I'm satisfied. Leave it at that. Why can't we just leave it at that? And I'm trying every day to live like that. Stop, think, finally just sitting there and being in the moment. Don't just rush and grab it. Stop and think. Are you hungry? No, but do you want to eat it? Yes. There's a difference. If you're not hungry, then don't go back. Do something else. I put my plate in the sink and I do something else. And honestly, you do. You kind of forget, oh yeah, I was supposed to go back and I didn't. Many times I've done that. My oatmeal has been like killing me lately and filling me, so I'll stop and I'll finish it later in the morning. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it's lunchtime. I'm like, I never finished my oatmeal. I didn't want to. I didn't need to. So always try. It is a new concept for me. Is it a new concept for you? Like listening, because we live your whole life never even realizing that you didn't listen to yourself. You just kind of ate it because you head hunger versus belly hunger. Let's figure out the difference. That's what I'm working on. So that is it for me. Let me know, like I said, down below how your week went, how you did, what you thought of the sodium. What is your take on sodium? Are you sodium sensitive? Like I said, I'm not normally too much, but when it's repetitive, it's like, yeah, your body's like, yeah, no, we can't get rid of this. So I've been green teaing. Plain green tea. I like it iced. Helps flush things out. And water. And my jug of water upstairs. I've been doing better. I'm back on getting a lot of water in, which is, I've slacked off a few months back, but we're getting there, my lovies. We're getting there. So that is it for me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, welcome. If you've not yet hit that subscribe button, join us here at Dish with D. It's either this way or this way. It's always in reverse. It's probably this way. And hit that notification bell. It looks like it rings. Let you know when I upload and when I go live. We go live here once a week on this channel. So you want to join us for the weight loss podcast. If you've never seen a podcast, they are here under, I believe, live videos. Go check out an old podcast. It's a lot of fun. You want to join in and have a good time with like-minded people. We share tips, recipes, fun, and just things that work, and fun food things and fun adventures and just life in general. So I will see you in a video very soon, my lovelies. Bye bye for now.